would like to introduce the ecology and the conservation of coral reefs in Taiwan. Right now, I am a research fellow in Taiwan Coral Research Center in National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium in southern Taiwan. And I'm also a professor in Institute of Marine Biodiversity and Evolution in National Donghua University. The campus is also located in National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium. In this slide, with my title, it's our museum in the night. So you see our museum with some light under the roof looks like a traditional Chinese lantern, and the light will not influence the beautiful night sky. And behind our museum is the mountain, and in front of our museum it's the sea. It's very calm, and behind the sea and our museum is the fringing coral reefs. So actually our museum is located on the coral reefs. Then today I will introduce the ecology and the conservation. So I will talk about the environmental condition and the typical marine organisms in coral reefs, and what's their situation right now, and what's the human-made problem caused the degradation of coral reefs, and what we can do to help to the sustainable development of coral reefs in Taiwan and also in the world. This slide shows the coral reefs with some beautiful photos from the reefs in Taiwan. So the subtitle is right now we recognize the coral reefs as the most productive, beautiful, diverse, and dynamic marine ecosystem. So you see these beautiful photos with typical marine organisms like corals, clownfish, sea anemone. They are very common in the reefs. The reason they are most productive is in the coral reefs there are a lot of fish and snails, seaweeds. So they provide a lot of food for people. So for many coral reef island country, their life depends on the fishery product of the coral reefs. So they can rely on it for their life. For the beautiful, as you know, many coral reef island was the most welcome tourism site, like Hawaii, Maldives, or Tahiti, or like some in Caribbean, the Bermuda or Costa Rica. There are many coral reefs, and it's the most of the site is people choose for their honeymoons, for their holidays, because so the water is clean and the organism is so beautiful. So many different lives there, full of life, and they are also most diverse because a lot of different organisms live in the coral reefs. Then I will introduce these very different organisms later. The reefs also considered was a very dynamic ecosystem because a lot of living organisms live there, and their interaction or their abundance is variable in different reefs. And after some disturbance like a typhoon or right now some human-made damage, the fate of the reefs is very different, depend on different site or different disturbance. So usually they are very different among different sites, so very dynamic. We just understand coral reefs, their ecology and their biology about 60 years ago, about from 1960s. So it's not very long history. But unfortunately, caused by the natural and the human-made damage, right now the coral reefs was also considered the most vulnerable, threatened, and globally endangered marine ecosystem. As you may heard, the coral bleaching, a lot of coral died in 1998, and also many reefs exist in some area with a lot of a large human population. So many human-made activity will damage these reefs. And one reason is because these reefs, they exist in very good, in very special environmental conditions. They need the light is strong, water is warm and very clean, and with a hot bottom. So this environment is very easily influenced by human activity. Like if we do something in the coast and a lot of sedimentation go into the sea, so cause the water turbid, it will the corals will be damaged. Another common event is like this year is the ocean warming. If the temperature abnormally warm, more than their tolerate range, they became bleached and even died. So they are most vulnerable to the environmental change, and they are threatened by human-made activity like the coastal development. We release a lot of sewage and the pollution into the sea, and also the climate change, like the ocean warming, ocean acidification. And the most important information you should know is these coral reefs, they are globally endangered. That means in this earth, almost all the reefs, they are under the threat of the human-made and the natural environmental change. So on this slide, on the left side, you can see the healthy reef photo. It is the branching acropora. They grow fast, provide a very good, important habitat for these fish and other invertebrates like crabs. On the right side is degraded reefs. So you can see the coral died, and their skeleton became a pile of the piles of the skeleton accumulated on the bottom, and some anemone, they occupy the space, and almost no fish will live there, and the water is also turbid. So it's this is the same area after the disturbance. So from a healthy reef became a degraded reef, and this coral reef change is more common and common in the world. So how to protect and conserve these valuable natural resources? The most important principle is we need to conduct the resilience-based conservation and management. Resilience means the ecosystem they are resist to the environmental change, and then if damaged or after disturbance, they can recover to the original or remain the original condition. So these reefs, they can live longer. So this is the most important principle in the future for the conservation and the management of coral reefs. In the following slides, I will introduce some work we conduct in for this conservation and management effort. So, and in this slide, we also show the healthy reefs. They are considered as resilient reefs. So you can see these reefs. They are abundant. They are abundant live corals. Like on the left side, the table coral, the massive coral, and a lot of fish still there. Keep the ecology equilibrium. Okay. The following slides, I will generally introduce the coral reef ecology. So this slide, we show a very famous sail rock in Kenting National Park in southern Taiwan. This area is coral reefs. So, and the coral reefs not only provide habitat for living organisms, they also there are a lot of fossil reefs in the world. So this big rock exists along the coast. It's a landmark for Kenting National Park in southern Taiwan, and it's made by the coral reefs. So every visitors after visit the Kenting National Park, they will remember these rocks. People recognize the building 101 as the landmark for Taiwan, and this sail rocks is the landmark for coral reefs in Kenting National Park. And in Taiwan, we have two kinds of coral reefs. One is the fringing reefs, as the left slide shows. These fringing reefs developed along the seashore. They connected to the mainland, so it's very easy to access these fringing reefs. On the right side, it's the Dongsa Atoll. So this slide shows the satellite image of the Dongsa Atoll. You can see a ring, a bright blue ring in the slide. On the left side, the bright area is the Dongsa Island. So we have the Coast Guard and the people work in the Dongsa Marine Park lives there. And this atoll, the diameter about 25 kilometers, so it's quite large. And this Dongsa Atoll looks like a perfect ring. So the Dongsa Island looks like a diamond on a ring. So it's a very beautiful and well-developed atoll. And this slide shows the living coral reefs. So coral reefs, their environment is they need the strong light and warm water, and the water should be clear, so the sunlight can penetrate to the bottom. And under the clear water is the branching corals. They exist there. And coral reefs is famous for the beautiful and diverse marine organisms. As you can see in these slides, there are different corals exist there. These coral reefs, they are very strong, and they provide a large and variable space for the habitat for different marine organisms, and a lot of different color, shape, and marine organisms. They use these reefs as their habitat, so they can live here safely. And a lot of different marine organisms. They also the species also generated in this complex marine ecosystem. These coral reefs, like we human build the concrete building. It's very strong and large. so they can resist the typhoon or heavy rain. So it provides a very safe space for people's life. And coral reefs, like our concrete building, so provide safe and large space for these marine organisms. The contribution, the value of the coral reefs is they can build the land for people to live. Another important value is they provide important fishery resources, and the reefs also is the hatchery habitat for fishery organisms. As this slide shows, this bright small dot is the small fish. When the predator or the big fish come to eat them, they will hide between the coral branches, so they are safe there. The big fish cannot get into it. And these corals also release mucus, or as the fish's food, or the fish they can have some plankton food in this area. So this coral colony, they act as the home for juvenile fishes. So it's also a very important ecological function. Okay. The following slides, I will introduce different kind of corals and basic coral biology. Corals classified into stony coral, that is reef-building corals, then soft coral and Gorgonian corals. So this is the three major types of corals. The most important coral is the reef-building corals. Is also the stony corals. So this slide shows the acropora corals. Acropora corals, they are one of the most important corals. Several reasons. One is there are a lot of different species belonging to this Acroporidae corals. So more than 100 species in this family. The second reason is they grow very fast, so they contribute a lot to the reef building. Like the slide shows, this tabular corals, the growth rate is more than 10 centimeters for 1 year, so grow very fast. And their competition ability is very strong, so they occupy most of the reef area. This is their ability. On the other hand, although they are very competitive and grow fast, but they are very sensitive to the environmental condition. So if the water is too warm or was polluted, this acropora coral, they are very sensitive. So they became bleached, even died. So right now, in the world, more and more acropora corals, they are dying, and their abundance is decreased quickly. On the right side, with the slide shows the coral polyps. So you can see many branches with the polyp there. I will introduce a name later. Another common branching coral in the shallow water is the Posilopora corals. Like these corals, they have the big and thick branches. They are very common in the shallow area. So Acropora, Posilopora, they are important corals in the shallow area, but they are also very sensitive to the environmental change. So then if you go into deeper area, you will see more we call massive corals. Like this slide shows this massive corals. They are not easy to recognize as a living organism because they looks very similar to the rocks. So you should pay attention to them. So you can see their color, and if you touch them, they will release the mucus, and you will feel it. So this is massive corals. Massic corals, they are very abundant and common in Taiwan because in Taiwan usually the wave is big because we have strong monsoon and typhoon. So these massive corals, they can resist to the strong current. That's why they are so abundant in Taiwan. And in this slide, you can see the very interesting and beautiful pink organism. They are Christmas tree worm. So it's one beautiful marine organism in coral reefs. These two photos shows the coral polyp budding. So coral's life start from one polyp. The polyp attached on the hot bottom, then they will divided through the asexual budding. So on the left side is intratentacular budding. So you can see each circle is one polyp. So you can see one polyp with two bright dots in their circle. That means the polyp has been divided to two polyps. Then they will grow and separate to two polyps. So you can see from this slide the different stage of the polyp budding. So one polyp divided to two polyps, and two became four became 8. So they are more polyps, and the colony became larger. On the right side is extratentacular budding. So the polyp formed outside of the polyp. So we call extratentacular budding. So these are two very common polyp budding. Polyp budding is through the asexual budding. The colony become larger and larger. So it's also a form of the growth for corals. And this slide shows the massive Porites corals. This Porites corals is also a very typical and important corals. Contrast to the branching Acropora and Poecilopora corals. These massive Porites corals, they grow very slow. Their polyp is very small, diameter about 1 millimeter, so quite small. And their growth rate is also slow. Usually they grow 1 centimeter per year. Although they grow very slow, but they are very tolerant to the environmental change. So as you can see, these big, massive Porites corals, since their growth rate is very small, about 1 centimeter per year. So like if one Porites colony is about 1 centimeter, 1 meters big, that means they are it is about 100 years old. So that's one way to estimate their age. Under the sea, usually you can see many Porites corals with 2 or 3, even larger big diameter colonies. So many of them, their age is about several 100 years old. So they are very long they have the longevity. And these massive Politis corals, they are not live very long. They also like the tree. Some trees they can live for several hundreds years old. So they do not have the problem for aging. So without not caused by the pollution or predation, they can live forever if there is no the other factors to damage them. And like the tree, they also have the ear ring, so we can use it to estimate their age also. So these corals, they grow very slow, and they can have a very longevity. They are resistant to the environmental change, so that's why they can exist for a very long time. In southern Taiwan, in the Green Island, we have there is a massive Politis. Their size is more than 10 meters. So its age is more than 1,000 years. So it's a very longevity. And this slide shows another important corals and common corals in Taiwan. It's foliaceous multipolar coral. So like they are flat, so very fragile. If you step on them, they will broken to many small pieces. If the fragment fallen on the reefs, they will reattach on the reefs and regrow again. But if the fragment fall into the sand area, they will die there. They also grow very fast. In some shallow area, they become very dominant. So a lot of area occupied by this foliaceous multipolar coral. This is a spatial phenomena in Taiwan. Usually, foliaceous corals exist in quite deep area, deep sea, like 30 or even deeper, 30 meters or even deeper. But in southern Taiwan, in very shallow area, like 2 meter depths, you can find a lot of foliaceous multipolar coral. This slide shows a very special corals we call free-living corals. Most of the coral species, they attached. They are basic life, but they also attached on the reefs. You cannot move them. But for these free-living corals, when they are juvenile, when they are small, they attached on the substratum. Then they grow up. Then they grow up like a mushroom, and the head of the mushroom grow up bigger than the fallen and became these free-living corals. So on the right side, you can see one free-living corals there, and it's also one polyp there. So it's very special. Most of coral species, they are colonial. That means the colony is composed by many polyps. But for some free-living coral, this fungi species, one individual is one polyp. So it's very different from most of other coral species. But some of them, they also can conduct the budding. So on the right side is a free-living coral with many polyps in one colony. So they are very diverse lifestyle in corals. This slide shows the azulensile corals. As you may know, most of the reef-building corals, they are azulensile corals. That means in their body there is a endosymbiotic microalgae exist in their cells. The microalgae, they can conduct the photosynthesis and provide nutrient to corals. And the microalgae is also the color for corals. The reason why coral they have the color. But for these aerosensitive corals, they do not have the symbiotic algae inside their body. So they relied on the flow, the water current to bring the food. Then they catch the plankton as their food. So on the left side, you can see these Tubastria corals. They extend their polyp as many yellow tips there. And one polyp, the tentacle extract in their body, so exposed its mouth. So you can compare coral polyps with extended tentacles or without the extended coral polyp tentacles. So it's very clear there. These aerosensitive corals, they are several different colors. The left side is the bright orange, yellow color, and on the right side, it's the dark green color. So it's very different. And they usually exist in some area with strong current. So the strong current can bring them a lot of food. They also exist in the cryptic habitat because they cannot compete with the stony coral. So stony coral dominated in the with strong light area, and they usually exist in the dark area.